The emergency signal reached the Galactic Council chambers at exactly 0347 Standard Time. The transmission crackled through the vast dome where representatives from 47 species sat in their designated sections. Each species had their own breathing apparatus, gravity adjusters, and environmental controls. Creating a strange mix of sounds and smells throughout the massive hall, Council Speaker Thane, a tall blue-skinned Altarian with 4 arms, called for immediate attention. His voice echoed through the translation systems, reaching every delegate in their native language.
Ow.
The emergency beacon came from the Outer Rim territories, specifically from Valari Prime and its 3 colony worlds. The hologram display flickered to life in the center of the chamber. A Valari appeared on screen, her pale green skin marked with stress patterns that her species showed during extreme fear. Her large dark eyes were wide with terror as she spoke in rapid, desperate tones. "This is Elder Myra of Valari Prime. Send this message to all who will listen. The Krex Empire has broken the border treaties. Their war fleet entered our system 12 hours ago. They demand complete surrender of all 4 worlds." The chamber filled with murmurs and concerned chittering from various species. Valari were known throughout the galaxy as peaceful healers and scientists. They had no military force to speak of, only small defense satellites that could barely stop pirates. Elder Mira continued, her voice breaking with emotion. "They have begun bombing our cities, civilian areas, schools and hospitals. They are not seeking conquest. They want extermination. Our population centers on Valari 2 are already gone. 7 million souls lost in the first hour." The display showed grainy footage from the surface. Massive Krex battleships hung in the sky like dark clouds, raining destruction on helpless cities below. Valari civilians ran through burning streets, carrying children and the elderly. The attackers showed no mercy, targeting evacuation centers and medical facilities with precision strikes. "We estimate 72 hours before all resistance ends," Elder Mira said, her image flickering as explosions shook her transmission point. "We have medical supplies and scientific knowledge that could benefit the galaxy, but we have no weapons, no soldiers. We ask for help. We ask for mercy. We ask that someone, anyone, remember us when we are gone." The transmission ended with a burst of static. The chamber fell silent, except for the hum of life support systems and the nervous sounds of various species processing what they had. Witness Speaker Thane activated the central discussion protocols. One by one, representatives began to speak. The Altarians expressed deep concern but noted their fleet was engaged in border disputes with the Nexus Federation. The crystalline builders offered sympathy while explaining their ships were not designed for combat. The plant-like gardeners suggested sending seeds to regrow the Valari worlds after the massacre. Hours passed. 46 species offered prayers, sympathy, and empty words. Some promised to send aid ships after the fighting ended to help with cleanup and burial duties. Others suggested memorial services to honor the soon-to-be extinct Valari civilization. The mathematics of galactic politics were cruel but simple. The Valari worlds were far from major trade routes. They produced excellent doctors and researchers, but nothing that could not be replaced. The Krex Empire, while brutal, controlled important mining systems and shipping lanes. A direct confrontation would cost more lives than saving for small worlds was worth. Ambassador Kane sat quietly in the human section, listening to the debate with growing disgust. He was a large man even by human standards, with gray hair and scars on his hands from his days as a Marine before joining the diplomatic corps. Earth had only been part of the Galactic Council for 15 years, making humanity the newest and least influential member species. Most of the other delegates barely acknowledged human presence. Earth was classified as a Class 12 death world, meaning it had hostile conditions that most galactic species found deadly. Humans were seen as tough but primitive, good for manual labor and dangerous jobs that other species avoided. When the debate reached the human section, Kane stood slowly. His movement drew attention because humans were significantly larger than most council species. At nearly 2 meters tall and weighing over 90 kilograms, he towered over the nearby delegates. "The Terran Federation offers assistance," Kane said simply. A ripple of surprise went through the chamber. The snake-like Soldari representative spoke first. "What manner of assistance can your young species provide? Do you have medical ships?" "To send after the violence ends?" Kane's jaw tightened. "We have ships. We have personnel trained in emergency response. We can reach the Valari system within standard transit time." The Altarian speaker Thane activated his translation matrix to ensure clarity. "You understand, Ambassador Kane, that the Krex Empire has deployed a full invasion fleet? Over 200 warships, including their newest dreadnoughts. This is not a rescue mission. It is a military engagement against a superior force." "We understand the situation," Kane replied. A delegate from the gas-breathing Whisper species floated forward. In her containment suit. "No disrespect to humanity, but your fleet numbers are quite small. Our intelligence suggests you have perhaps 50 combat-capable vessels in your entire space force. The Krex deployment alone outnumbers you 4-1. Kane looked directly at the floating alien. Numbers on paper don't tell the whole story. The chamber erupted in what could charitably be called discussion, and more accurately be called barely controlled chaos. Multiple species began talking at once, their translation systems creating a cacophony of voices, arguing about the foolishness of sending a tiny human force against the Krex war machine. The elderly, Philosopher Prime of the Seeker species raised one of his 6 arms for attention. When the noise died down, he spoke in his careful, measured way. "Young humans, we appreciate your courage, but courage without wisdom leads only to more death. The Krex Empire has conquered 17 species. In the last century, they are not merely strong, they are utterly ruthless. They will not accept surrender. They will not negotiate. They will destroy your ships and enslave any survivors." Kane remained standing throughout the lecture. When the Philosopher Prime finished, the human ambassador spoke again, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustics. "The Terran Federation has voted to respond to the Velar distress call. We will deploy whatever forces are necessary to provide assistance." Speaker Thane's for hands worked rapidly at his control panel, accessing files and data streams. "Very well. The Council hereby authorizes human intervention in the Valari crisis. Under Emergency Protocol 7, be advised that no other species will be obligated to provide support if your mission encounters difficulties." "Understood," Kane said. As the session moved to other business, representatives from various species approached the human section. Most offered condolences in advance, assuming they were witnessing humanity's first and last major military deployment in galactic affairs. A few offered to send rescue ships to recover human survivors after the inevitable defeat. The Valari delegate, Elder Kep, approached Kane with tears streaming down his pale face. "Thank you," he whispered. "Even if you cannot save us, thank you. For trying, most species would have forgotten us before the day ended." Kane shook the alien's delicate hand carefully,